Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous. And here's her story. Hi, Ollie. I have a question regarding toxic dynamics in sibling relationships and how to deal with such situations like family gatherings. Just a bit of background info. I'm a 45-year-old woman, the youngest sibling of four. I am divorced from a drug-addicted narcissist who is extremely verbally and mentally abusive. I have primary custody of our two children, ages 14 and 11. He has only very restricted visitation with them. I left with the kids 2.5 years ago, and the three of us are still on the road to our recovery and getting better every day in a new house with a new life. I have a sister who is the oldest sibling. She is divorced from a narcissist who was verbally and mentally abusive to her. They have 2 adult sons. Throughout her 30-year marriage to this man, my parents repeatedly offered her to let her and her sons move in with them and that they would not have to suffer anymore. She would not leave because of money. Her sons have deep resentment towards her for keeping them in that nightmare of a situation for their entire childhood. On top of that, she became a hoarder during the marriage. Unhealthy coping strategy, I suppose. And she still is, hoarding to this day, according to her sons, despite having finally divorced her husband and buying a new home. I hate to be the one to break this to you. Hoarding is narcissism. Hoarding is narcissism. Basically, it's another form of borderline personality disorder. I would question how you and your sister, both married narcissists, destructive narcissists, and both your parents are this, oh, we'll come back home and she won't have to suffer anymore. Why are 2 of you? I don't know about your other 2 yet, but it sounds to me like there's some problems that started back in your childhood. And I would wonder if, well, let's read on. She's been in a new house for about 2 years now, and I've never seen it, and she's never invited me there. She refuses, as always, to ever offer her house for a holiday or a family gathering. Well, it's a hoarded out disaster. I feel I've never had a normal sister connection with her. We've never been close. My first problem is that she is 10 years older than me. She had a strained relationship with our parents. There you go. Especially our mother, and she moved out when she was 18 and I was only 8. The second problem I feel is that she is harboring envy and resentment of me that she can't seem to get past. I can feel that "so you think you're better than me" vibe coming from her. This is the main issue I would like for you to address in this video. It's not that she thinks you're better than her. She thinks you had an easier time than she did. I guarantee it. And you being the baby of the family, you know. Your parents had 3 other opportunities to get it right. So she might harbor a lot of resentment towards you. A lot. And she sounds like she's in the cluster B spectrum herself with the hoarding. Hoarding is very selfish, self-centered, narcissistic, controlling everybody's life. Me, 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 me. That's what it is. That's what it is. So I take with a grain of salt the narcissistic husband you said she had. She might have. Okay? But she's got problems herself. Not only that, she hoards out a second house after she divorced him. Come on. They say envy usually comes from a place of insecurity and inadequacy. I feel that sometimes a little bit of envy that comes from more of a place of admiration, can be a healthy thing that motivates people to try harder and better for themselves. I mean, However, when someone gets stuck in victim status, they refuse to take the necessary steps to better themselves. I think that refusal is most often rooted in laziness and fear. I think I know where she's getting. I think you think she's better than her from. Because to me, it sounds like you think you're better than her. Look, she's the oldest. She's 10 years older than you, and you're the baby of the family. And it sounds like you're talking to her like you know her better than she knows her. Almost like you want her to be envious of her. Or it sounds very like you're kind of gaslighting her a little bit here. Not a good look. They don't want to do the hard work, whether it's physical or emotional, and they are too afraid to introspect and figure out what they can do differently as far as what kind of attitude they're approaching the situation with. They think it's just easier to blame other people for their problems and sort of armchair quarterback, criticizing the successful as if they're undeserving of all that success, all the while refusing to better themselves but continuing to complain to anyone who will listen all about their horrible misfortune. The envy then becomes pathological and takes over their lives. It doesn't sound like you're very empathetic towards your sister or her abuse. It sounds like you're looking down your nose at her, to be quite honest with you. Sounds like somebody who is the baby of the baby golden child, to be very, very, very frank. Being the oldest is very difficult. Being the oldest, being raised by narcissists, is even worse. It's horrendous. I can tell you this firsthand. And having to see your younger siblings get all the benefits you never got and all the opportunities you never received because you were basically treated as a fucking guinea pig. It's not a good feeling, and it's not a good way to go through life. So then to be told, to complain that she says, you think you're better than me, and then you go through a whole paragraph where you think you're better than her, it's not a good look. The main issue I'm having with my sister right now is that she makes passive-aggressive covert jabs at me at family gatherings and then tries to disguise it as either concern for my well-being or just joking, or she will just virtue signal. This happens many times over the years, and I get it. She can't stand me. Yeah, she hates you. Yeah, she can't stand you. She thinks you got a better life than she did. She thinks she got the wrong end of the deal. She may be right, she may be wrong. That's how she feels. I've just had it and I'm done with it. For example, I used to be a smoker. I quit a year ago. For a while, every gathering would turn into some sort of smoking intervention with my sister, my mother, and another relative who would chime in telling me all the reasons I should quit smoking. It was very hurtful and embarrassing for me because, first, they were insulting my intelligence because they weren't telling me anything I didn't already know. And second, a nice family visit would turn into everyone focusing on one of my biggest faults and shaming me. My mother, I felt, was genuinely worried for my well-being. My father never chimed in because he used to smoke himself and understands the addiction. My sister, I felt, was coming from a more mean-spirited place. I had a sense that she did not really care about my well-being and that this behavior was coming from a place of unhealthy envy. It was a big fault of mine that she could point as if to say, look how bad she is. Yeah, that's what she was doing. She's trying to knock you down off your pedestal, off your high horse, so to say. You said she had a hard time with her mother and her family, but you didn't go into details. Another jab she liked making at me on religious holidays such as Christmas and Easter. We were raised Catholic, but I do not attend Mass regularly. At such holiday gatherings, she would make sure to announce what Mass she went to, what priest officiated, and how crowded it was, because all the part-time Catholics who only go to Mass on Christmas and Easter. So obviously she's virtue signaling that I'm a bad person because I don't go to Mass regularly. She hates you, I'm telling you. She's pissed at you. I don't even know if it's hatred. She's pissed at you. She's pissed at you. She thinks you had it better than her. She thinks she had it easier than her. And you might have. Do you ever stop and consider maybe there's reasons that she's resentful of me? Maybe the reasons are out of your control. But you don't come off as somebody who's being very empathetic to her. You want everybody to know you're better off than her. And that you think she's lazy and that she wallows in her own self-pity. She might. If she's a hoarder, she definitely has narcissism. Doesn't mean she didn't get the fucking raw end of the deal growing up. Another thing she likes to do, especially at family gatherings, is just talk right over me and change the subject when I'm in the middle of making a point or telling a story. There have also been occasions where I was talking directly to her and she overtly turned her body and face away from me and started watching TV. When she does that, I usually stop talking to her and just walk away as if the incident never took place. Then I stop initiating conversation with her for the rest of the day. One reason for her envy, I think, is purely superficial since I'm younger than her. I work hard to stay fit by maintaining a regular exercise routine, and I eat healthy most of the time. I maintain a healthy weight, and I'm attractive. Because of my healthy lifestyle and quitting smoking, I was able to get off my high blood pressure medication. I've also been seeking a counselor for my emotional issues for 3 years now. When my sister's marriage went bad, she sat on the couch and used food, shopping, and hoarding as her coping strategies. As a result, she is significantly overweight, and that has caused health issues for her that she is unwilling to admit to and hasn't dealt with in any meaningful way. She also will not seek counseling for her emotional issues, but of course she loves sitting there pointing to my fault of smoking, especially in front of our in front of our parents. But you're pointing all her faults. She's overweight, she doesn't eat right, she wallows in self-pity. So it's okay for you to call out her faults and not the other way around? Is that what you're saying? She has no reason to be angry with you, no reason to be resentful for you, because you sound like you're on a high horse trying to keep her in her fucking place. That's what this sounds like. It sounds terrible. You made sure to detail all the things you're doing, that you're attractive and you're working out and you quit smoking. You don't know how to talk to her. And I think you're still competing with her in a way. Not in a way, but you're competing with her. And she's pissed at you. She's real pissed at you. She's basically said, like, I've had it with your bullshit. I also keep my house presentable and clean, and I do have family gatherings at my home, which I feel is another trigger for her envy. Now that I'm no longer smoking, she doesn't have that put down to fall back on, so she's having to dig really deep to find things to put me down for. Lately, she does the just joking game, but I don't think making jokes at the expense of insulting a person and embarrassing them is ever okay. At a recent dinner, my parents' home, my mother was fussing over their dog who was having some joint pain. She's an older dog, and I made a comment to my mother to the effect that the dog would be fine, come sit down and eat. My sister then chimes in, specifically to my parents, "Don't worry, I'll take care of y'all." I can see her standing over your sick bed saying, "You're fine, stop complaining." Basically insinuating that I'm a cold, heartless bitch. I handled the situation all wrong by going into defensive mode, saying, "I think I could tell the difference between a dog and humans, especially my parents." I said this in a very exasperated tone and immediately regretted it because I took the bait. Neither one of my parents said a word. Of course, my sister responded with a smug smirk and said, "I was just kidding," in a soft, vacant, innocent voice. My question is, what is the best way to handle such situations when someone makes jokes at your expense, which are actually mean digs to cover insults meant to make you feel bad about yourself and embarrass you in front of others? My opinion is that people who do this are extremely insecure and immature and don't think stooping down to their I don't think stooping down to their level and throwing an insult back at them is the answer. I definitely know that going on the defensive like I did is a bad strategy because that just gives them the exact reaction they want to get you bothered and off balance. Some say it's best to laugh along with them and pretend it doesn't bother you. I'm not sure that's the right way to go either. Some say not reacting just gives them the green light to keep escalating until they do get a reaction. I would appreciate your insight on this. Thanks, Anonymous. Well, the first thing I would do, I would ask myself, does she have a reason to be pissed at me? Does she have a reason to be pissed at me? Does she have a reason to resent me? You're not communicating with her in the right way because you don't realize how much she resents you. And she resents you for specific things that you may or may not know about. I have a feeling you have some ideas, though. Know it's weird? How come nobody in your family tries to stop her when she's doing this? How is it you and her both ended up with narcissistic abusers? Maybe what she's looking for is for you to stand up for her to your parents. The reason she keeps attacking you is so your mother won't attack her, which has probably been what she's been dealing with her entire fucking life, while watching the baby of the family get a free pass. Sound about right? So what I would suggest to you is to try to talk to her one last time about what went on when she was a girl, what the resentment is about. Find out how she really feels about your mother and father, because I guarantee you that's a big part of it. She probably wanted you to defend her, like I wanted my brother to defend me. If that doesn't work, I don't know why you would keep going over there if the family keeps allowing her to abuse you. Maybe it's subconsciously she's trying to show you your parents really deep down don't give a shit about you either, because they'll allow her to just abuse you, right? And embarrass you, right? She's trying to tell you something. She's trying to wake you up. She's already telling you she's got problems with you. She's telling you she resents you. you're not hearing her message. So I would ask myself, does she have reasons to resent me? What does she really want from me? And I would ask her for maybe the first time in your life, what really went on when you left at 18 years old? She's probably never had anybody defend her in her whole life. And she sees you as the golden child, as the beneficiary of her being the guinea pig of all the abuse, and you reaping all the benefits and rubbing it in her face. That's what I would find out from her for anything else. So I hope that helps. Thank you for your contribution and your story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comments section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you guys. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance.